And welcome to Upon Further Review. I'm Josh Aubrey. Plenty to get to in this week's show. The 41st annual Schenkel Invitational is now in the books. The Georgia Southern Eagles played solid for 3 rounds. Unfortunately, there was a team that was playing on another level. The NC State Wolfpack, who had been to Forest Heights Country Club on 34 other occasions, had never won the championship. They made up for it this past weekend. They were the only team to finish under par. They were 23 under for an individual. Ben Shipp ran away with that one. Minus 16 for the 3 days, which was 11 better than second place. So the Wolfpack run away with it. The Eagles do place second individually. They finished fourth was the best they had, with Brett Barron coming in fourth. The Eagles finished second, just ahead of Furman, who came in third. We'll have plenty of highlights and interviews and send you back for some of the action from the Schenkel. We also had an emotional baseball game for the Statesboro High Blue Devils, who were hosting Brunswick on Friday. Former head coach Jim Simmons passed away. His funeral was held Friday morning. The Blue Devils were down 7-0 in that game, 8-2 in the bottom of the 6th. They go on to score 5 runs in the bottom of the 7th to pull out an emotional 9-8 victory over Brunswick. We'll have highlights of that game for you. We'll also send you out for some highlights from Georgia Southern softball. All that and more coming up on Upon Further Review.
The Medical Center Pharmacy on Grenade Street is proud to be your Health Mart pharmacy in Statesboro. The Medical Center Pharmacy, locally owned and serving this community for 50 years, is open 364 days a year. The pharmacists at Medical Center know there's nothing more important than your family's well-being. That's why they take the time to know their customers, explain their medications, and answer any questions. The Medical Center Pharmacy, your Health Mart pharmacy. Health Mart, caring for you and about you.
Well, the 41st annual Schenkel Invitational taking place this past Friday, Saturday, and Sunday at Forest Heights Country Club. Pretty good weather for Friday and Saturday. Unfortunately, Sunday, some cool, windy conditions, and the scores pretty high for everyone except NC State. They were playing on another level this past 3 days. The team and individual titles going to the Wolfpack, who had been here 34 years, 34 times before. First victory at the Schenkel. Let's send you out for some highlights and hear from Georgia Southern coach Carter Collins, Brett Barron from Georgia Southern, and then the individual winner Ben Shipp and head coach Press McFall. A cool windy day Saturday at Forest Heights Country Club for round 2 of the Schenkel Invitational. A good crowd around number 6, and they'd witnessed something special as Furman's Ross Funderburk hits it up on the hill. It'll feed back down for a hole-in-one. A visit to Statesboro he'll never forget. Friday's co-leader, Georgia Southern's Brett Barron, with the birdie here on number 5. Back to 6 we go, and the Eagles' Ben Carr will drain the 12-foot birdie to number 5. And after a great drive, NC State's Ben Shipp to within a few feet, which he'd tap in for the birdie. The Wolfpack extending their lead as Max Steinlechner with the birdie here on number 6. Speaking of the Wolfpack, how about Christian Salzer with the long birdie putt on number 7? Jake Maples keeping up as he sinks the birdie from the fringe on 7. Moving over to 8, it's Barron with another birdie putt. He and Shipp battling for the top individual spot. Back to 7 we go, and Ben Carr with the eagle putt. He just misses and settles for birdie. The top teams having plenty of success on 7 as Easton Paxton with the birdie here. Over to 8 we go, and again, it's Shipp And he's pulling into first place all alone with the birdie. Back to 7. And another eagle chance for the Eagles. Colin Bowles just misses and would have a birdie. Furman hanging tough in third place in the team competition as Jack Crosby drains the birdie here on 7. To 8 we go. And the approach by the Wolfpack's Salzer. Take a look at this one. It settles within about 4 feet. Salzer then able to convert the birdie. He'd end up 1 under. Paxton's red hot going as well here with the chip on 9 to within a few feet. He'd birdie from there. Ben Carr leading the way for the Eagles Saturday here. The long downhill birdie on number 9. He'd finish at 6 under, tied for second. One person he was tied with was Max, who would take advantage of that read and make a birdie as well. To the par 5 12th we go. Georgia Southern's Mason Williams chipping for eagle. He'd leave this one about 2.5 feet below the hole and go on to make birdie. Another eagle try for an eagle, and it's Jake Maples on 12. He just misses, and he'd birdie as well. But any chance of the eagle comeback done in by the next 2 groups. First, it's Mighty Max with his second shot on the par 5 12th. And look at the kick he gets right here. That's what he'd have left for eagle. He'd step up and drain the 3-footer. And if that weren't enough, how about Ship following that up with an eagle himself? Ship running away from the pack and the Wolf Pack doing likewise. The Eagles and Furman battling for second. And Keller Harper here with the birdie on number 16. Carr keeping pace for Georgia Southern as he birdies 16 as well. Furman's Max Scott as we stay on 16 with a nice approach here from about 120 yards back. Furman in third place, but everyone chasing NC State. Here on 18, it's Carter Graff for eagle. He just misses. He'd tap in for birdie. NC State with a double-digit lead heading to Sunday. As we move to Sunday, a rainy, cold finishing day for the Schenkel, and most teams not named NC State struggling. Some bright spots, though. Mason Williams here on number 6 for birdie. The 6th hole can be one of the easiest. Sunday, it ended up being one of the hardest for a few people. First, it's Furman's Keller Harper. Pretty nice shot on most days, but this one sucks back into the water. A tough day for NC State's Carter Graff, who went from tied for second to shooting an 80 on Sunday, and this sure didn't help things as this one just trickles in. Back to some good moments. And Brett Barron's chip on number 7 to within about 6 feet. From there, he's able to make the birdie putt in the downpour. Furman's Max Scott doing a great job of getting out of trouble on 7 through the trees. And within about 10 feet right here, he'd be able to salvage par. Ben Ship on 7, the chip to within a couple feet. He'd tap that one in for a birdie. To 9 we go. The Wolfpack's Christian Salzer with his 3rd shot on the par 5. Nice few feet uphill for birdie, and he makes it. Georgia Southern's Jake Maples nearly gets another eagle, but he'd settle for a birdie. He chipped in on Friday. Next, it's Max Steinlechner putting his third shot within 2 feet. He tapped that in for a birdie and placed second individually at 5 under. To 12 we go, and it's NC State's Easton Paxton with the approach on the par 5 to about 6 feet. He'd then step up and make the birdie. Staying on 12, the approach from Maples from about 120 yards away. And once the cart gets out of the way, you can see he's within about 10 feet. Maples then able to drain the putt for the birdie. Furman's Max Scott in trouble on 12. Check out the save from the trees. Great shot here. He'd save par. From there, we move on to 14. And Max at it again. Take a look at this approach from about 135 yards away to about 4.5 feet. He sinks it for another birdie. Ross Funderburk in trouble on 14, laying 3 in the bunker. And how about this for the par save from the sand? Speaking of saves, it's Brett Barron from about 15 feet away, and the birdie putt. He'd finished tied for 4th at 4 under par. To 18 we go, and Mason Williams lining up for the eagle putt. After hitting the green in 2, he just misses. And there he'd step up and make the birdie. Brett Barron will remember his final approach shot in the Schenkel, a thing of beauty from under the trees, the line drive to within a couple of feet. Later, how about the third shot on 18 from Max Scott from Furman? He'd birdie from there and place tied for 4th overall. A tough final day for the Eagles' Ben Carr, but here he nearly holds the eagle putt on 18. He'd settle for a birdie and place tied for 10th. As for the man who'd walk away with the trophy for low individual medalist, no surprise, NC State's Ben Shipp. He runs away with this one, the only player to shoot in the 60s all 3 days. A 16 under par finish and an 11-stroke victory. This one within about 6 feet. He'd go on to birdie that hole, helping NC State win the team title as well.
I was coming off a rough week last week at the Dunes Club. I felt like I was playing really well, but just had to tighten some things up. So coming into this week, I felt pretty good. I tried to just loosen up a little bit. Kind of hit the first shot I see was my kind of statement for myself this week, and I did a really good job of that. And just one of those weeks I seemed to have every facet of the game going for 3 days.
Coach Sykes brought teams down here for years. This was one of his favorite tournaments, if not the favorite, and so to win it is pretty special. And it was just a solid week. Guys are playing. They're assertive, they're decisive, confident. It's been a lot of fun to watch them play. They've put in a lot of hard work, so it's nice to see them get some fruit from all that labor. It's pretty exciting.
This is always a special event just because of the hometown crowd. You know, you always get the cheers and stuff. And it being my last one, which I thought the last year was my last one. But no, it's just always a fun week, and glad, you know, even though we didn't get the win, you know, second place isn't terrible.
Just tip your cap to NC State. They earned it this week, and but you know, I'm also proud of our guys for what they've accomplished this week. Runner-up at the Schenkel is something we don't take for granted. It's always got great tradition, great history, and very appreciative of all the hard work they put into this week. Some of the extra pressure that comes into this week and how well they handled it. Just so proud of the guys, and really thankful for the 3 seniors that just played their last Schenkel. After what everyone went through last year, to have 3 guys be able to walk off their last green knowing they played their last Schenkel was something that they deserved. And Brett Barron, Jake Maples, and Jacob Bayer are 3 guys we're going to miss at the Schenkel.
Certainly some obstacles in our way this year, but we focused this year as a committee. We focused on what we can do for this tournament and what we can do for our student athletes that are here to play collegiate golf here in Statesboro, and we did that these last 3 days. We had some rain, we had some other issues that came up, but we continued to move forward and find out what we could do, and we finished a 54-hole event in 2021 for the 41st Schenkel Invitational on its 2nd attempt, and we couldn't be more happy.
Next up for the Eagles, they'll be heading up to West Virginia to play in a tournament coming up this week, and then the Sun Belt Championships will take place in a couple of weeks. All right, stay with us. More to come on Upon Further Review.
My Queensboro banker is Cheryl Quick.
Blanchard Equipment Company has 16 locations.
Queensboro has homegrown values just like us.
They get heavily involved in every community.
And that means strong customer service.
They've been around a long time, just like John Deere.
When you run across the bank like that, you stick with them.
I sure would like to own one of these John Deeres.
Well, we can sure make that happen.
Oh, well.
Queensboro is your community bank. Queensboro National Bank and Trust.
The Georgia Southern University store with 2 locations to serve you on the Georgia Southern campus in Statesboro and in Savannah. They have plenty of Eagle merchandise to keep you warm in the cooler weather. So don't forget to visit the University store in Statesboro and Savannah or shop online at gsustore.com.
No credit refused isn't just an offer, it's a way of business and has been for over 100 years. No banks, no ridiculous credit requirements, just local Badcock store owners who treat you right and give you credit when others won't. It's never been easier to express your style and love your home.
Well, the Georgia Southern softball team trying to get some games in over the weekend. They were able to get in a pair of games. Unfortunately, the 3rd game was rained out and canceled. They tried to do it on Monday, and they weren't able to get it in on Monday as well. Let's send you out for some highlights from this past weekend. Georgia Southern opening up Sunbelt play at home against Louisiana Monroe on a beautiful afternoon at the ballpark. A 1-all game, and Georgia Southern pitcher Aaliyah Garcia making sure it stays that way here with the inning-ending strikeout. The Eagles are going to grab the lead in the 4th. Runners on for Ashlyn Gunner, who rips the double to left center. Georgia Southern goes up 2-1. Moments later, it's 3-1. Faith Shirley with the blast to right center. This one off the top of the fence, and it falls back in. 1 run scores. Georgia Southern looking good. However, that changes in the 7th. Still 3-1. Monroe pulls within 1 thanks to the RBI double to right by Jaden Mount. Seconds later, Warhawks will tie the game. Madeline Fletcher will send one out to short. The throw comes home, but the play can't be made, and it's tied. Monroe scores 4 in the inning, and they come from behind to win by a final count of 5-3. The news not as good in the nightcap as Georgia Southern falls in 8 innings, 11-9. The 3rd game scheduled for Sunday and then Monday was canceled. And next up for the softball team, they'll be at Florida International coming up this weekend. As for the Georgia Southern baseball team, they lost 2 out of 3 on the road at Troy. They've got a game in North Augusta against Clemson on Tuesday, and then they'll return home for a 3-game series with Appalachian State coming up this weekend at J.I. Clemens Stadium. All right, stay with us. High school baseball action coming up next. Family Internal Medicine Associates of Statesboro, providing primary care for Statesboro area patients since 1998, providing complete physicals, complete sports physicals, Medicare wellness exams, full diabetes treatment, and education from lifestyle changes to oral medications to insulin pump therapy, in-house dermatology, in-house circulation tests, and ultrasounds, and in-house labs. Featuring nurse practitioner Melissa Beasley, Family Internal Medicine of Statesboro can accommodate same-day or next-day appointments to serve your needs. Family Internal Medicine Associates of Statesboro, where we care. Well, very emotional past week or two for the Statesboro High baseball team, finding out that head coach Jim Simmons had been moved to hospice care a couple weeks ago, and then this past week finding out that he had passed away after a long illness. Then his funeral was on Friday. The baseball team and coaches went to the funeral on Friday morning and then had a game that night at Mill Creek as they were taking on Brunswick. They'd already split with the Pirates earlier in the week. Were trying to compose themselves emotionally, losing 7-0. They were able to come back to win that game 9-8. Let's send you out for some highlights. After an emotional day in which they attended the funeral of former coach Jim Simmons, Statesboro taking on Brunswick Friday night, the ball not bouncing the Blue Devils' way early, and they'd find themselves in a 5-0 hole. The Pirates continue to pile it on in the fourth as the RBI double to right here will make it 7-0. Statesboro trying to claw their way back. J.D. Kaiser singles to center. That will be followed by Dake Williams with the drive into right. The ball gets away and rolls to the fence. 1 run scores. Later, the fielder's choice will bring Williams in from third to cut the lead to 7-2. Hunter Saucy only allowing 1 run from there, and he'd have 8 strikeouts in 4 innings. At the bottom of the 6th, after a Ames Ratcliffe single, Will yawn the double to the wall and right. That would put runners on second and third. Saucy then, the 2-run single up the middle. The Blue Devils not giving up. We move to the 7th, down 8-4, and it's like something out of a movie. Williams at it again. This one a double to the fence. 2-run score, and it's 8-6. Saucy then with the bases loaded, and he comes through with the double to the fence and left, and we're tied at 8 all. And then it's Gray Harrelson with a hit he'll probably never forget. The throw gets away. In comes Saucy with the game winner as Statesboro comes back from 7 down to beat Brunswick by a final of 9-8. And then this week, the Blue Devils in action again. They were hosting Long County on Monday. Let's send you out for some highlights of that one. Statesboro hosting Long County Monday evening at Mill Creek. On the mound, lefty Thomas Ponder looking sharp here with the inning-ending strikeout. Will Yawn trying to get something going in the 4th for the Blue Devils as he singles to center. Later, bases loaded. Gray Harrelson, the ground ball to short, the force at second, but the throw in the dirt, allowing both runners to score, and it's 2-0 Statesboro. Ponder getting out of a jam here as Tyler Collins, the heads-up play at third, firing home on the ground ball. J.D. Kaiser with the tag for the out. In the 5th, Mason Hudgens starts things off with the fly ball into right. This one will drop for a single. Next up, Will Yawn. The deep drive to right field. This one will bring another run home, and it's 3-0. Ponder allowing only one unearned run and striking out 7 and going the distance on the mound. Up 3-1 in the 6th. Dake Williams, the single into right to start another rally. Then it's Hunter Saucy with the RBI single into center to extend the lead to 4-1. Somehow this wild pitch called a strike, but Williams able to hustle in to make it 5-1. Hudgens next, the deep fly ball to right center, plenty deep enough to bring Saucy home from third. And finally, Landon Collins, the opposite field single, and Mason Johns will slide home for the final run of the game as Statesboro wins 7-1. All right, next up for the Blue Devils, they'll be at Savannah Country Day on Tuesday and then at Long County coming up on Thursday. That'll wrap things up for now. We thank you for joining us. Hope to see you again next week.